welcome to the MMA Heat podcast. I am Karyn Bryant. I am an anchor for the UFC on ESPN, also co-owner, co-founder of MMA Heat. Been here since 2007. Thank you so much for joining us for the podcast today. I am here with...
Yo, what's up, everyone? And I am Jouban, UFC welterweight fighter. And if you're first time tuning in, of course, please subscribe, join, follow, whatever you have to do. We've been doing this show for quite a while now. I don't know. What episode is this, Karyn? Like 200 and something now?
240, I think. This is episode 240, I think.
Yeah, that's close to a good number right there when they talk about fights. But
right.
Not our first show, guys. So welcome. Glad to have you.
Yeah, it's either 240 or 241. Today we will talk about UFC 249, which Dana White announced will actually just happen, or it will happen in a couple of weeks. We'll also talk about just sort of how we're dealing with everything. And Alan, I may as well just sort of lead with that. I noticed on your stories, if people are not following you, they should be on Instagram at Alan Jouban, Jouban. You got yourself a new tramp at the house.
I got a new tramp, baby. Yeah. I know I'm following in your footsteps. You guys have been having a trampoline. I've been kind of holding back from getting one for a while, but I figured, quarantine time is the best time to do it. You're home. Right. You're going to get your money's worth and use it. And I figured, even though some people were kind of telling me that trampolines are not great for the knees, which I know, I get it. When I go to the trampoline park, sometimes my lower back and my knees are a little sore. But if I use it in a way that kind of is safely done, then I think I'm going to use it. I've been using it the last couple of days, and my legs have been burning out on it, and so it's great. So got a trampoline for my son. I'm going to use it for my physical therapy, add to my home gym collection, and just make the quarantine life a little bit smoother. One more little activity I could do throughout the day.
Yeah, well, the truth of the matter is you can get real workouts in on the trampoline if you want to. So sometimes I will lead Aurora on some, and sometimes I'm like, hey, kid, come out on the trampoline. And she's like, is it for fun or is it for a secret workout? Like, and I'm like, I don't know. But honestly, mostly we go out there for fun. But if you want, you can 100% do real workouts on there. A lot of time I do things like I run laps on them, and obviously the jumping, you can pretend you're like mimicking jumping rope. And I found one thing, Alan, and maybe this is a little aggressive for you since you are coming back from knee surgery, but one thing that I like to do is to jump on the trampoline and then try to, when you come down, you go into basically like a squat and you try to stabilize yourself and stop really fast. It's very challenging, and you feel like you work all your muscles, and you know what I mean, coming down from a big jump and trying to stabilize. But for your knee, that might not be great right away.
Well, I was doing similar stuff from what I was doing yesterday. I was doing like switch knees on different sides and kind of like splits in the air, just kind of working on control with core stability.
Yep.
But it was like where you keep your upper body stabilized in one position,
and you just bring your legs. Yes.
The legs, and you get sets of 50, you burn out. You feel it in the glutes, the quads, the hammies. So I was doing a lot of those. I enjoyed that. But yeah, like you said, you can go out there and have fun, but then you can get a couple minutes of work. Even doing like abs and conditioning, if you don't have like a yoga mat, you go out there on the trampoline, and it's kind of a soft surface that you can use your stabilizers, your core the whole time. So I'm a fan of trampolines now, for sure.
Cool. Well, I love it. And I love that you're down with it. It is a great place to stretch, like you said at the end, because you know it's just wide open, right? And so you're doing like the legs up and over and stuff like great for stretching. We play a thing with the three of us. We'll do like sort of like a follow the leader. We'll either do follow the leader or like an add-on where one person does one thing, the next person has to do that thing plus something, the next person goes that thing plus something. So we'll either do that. Yeah. Or just that, one person will get up and they'll do, like a little stunt, and then the other people have to copy. I mean, I know, your little man is a little younger than Aurora, so it'll be a little harder, but we really do have a lot of fun with it. And, you bring out the little speaker, you hook up the music, we love it.
Yeah, no, we've been doing the same stuff. And Cage is quite a bit younger than me, obviously, but he's also quite a bit fresher than me. And so, yeah, I could do the jump knees and all that, but when he starts doing the flips and landing on his back, I'm like, no. I'm just going to do the safe stuff for Daddy right now.
Yeah, no, Wade will do flips and stuff like that, and they love like jumping up really high and then just landing on their ass. I'm like, I don't need the booty trap thing. Like, we're good. Yeah. Like, there are definitely some moves that I won't do. But overall, welcome to the team. I love that you're on it. So we'll have to do like a trampoline edition of the MMA Heat podcast one day.
A tramp off for competition, yeah.
A tramp off. I have a feeling I can out tramp you for some reason. I don't. Maybe it's more experienced tramping. This all sounds bad.
Good old-fashioned tramp off.
Good old tramp off. I don't have a tramp stamp.
Yeah, good.
But anyway, all right, Alan. Everybody, as you can tell, all of us getting a little mental here, a little crazy with COVID, and we're staying in place, and hopefully you've been staying home. I did go out to the grocery store today, but haven't been out since like 6 days or so, I think was the last time I was, out and about to a store or whatever. But it was announced by Dana that Justin Gaethje and Tony Ferguson will fight for UFC 249 for the interim lightweight title. Of course, we know Tony Ferguson has already held that. Justin Gaethje really, really looking for a title shot. We know Khabib has gone home. Thought he was maybe going to go to the Emirates. Long story short, is back in Russia. We know the borders are closing. The world is crazy right now. These two have been confirmed as a title fight. We don't know where yet. But just overall reaction, Alan. Overall feelings. How you feeling about this idea?
It's news. It just feels like news. Right now, we're programmed to watch the news every day. What's the latest on the coronavirus? What's the latest with the close downs? With stores closing down, and now and then we're getting sprinkled with little MMA news. Nothing big so far because everything has just been shut down. So for Dana White to come on and say, look, the contracts are signed. This is happening. We have a general area that we're thinking somewhere on the West Coast. We don't have a specific location, at least that they're releasing, probably because it's not 100% confirmed, and he doesn't want to put his foot in his mouth. But they have an idea of where this place is going to be and how they're going to do it. And they have 2 signed contracts for at least a main event. It's exciting. It's exciting. I know this is not the fight that we all want, the fight that needs to happen, which is between Khabib and Tony Ferguson. But it is a very, very good filler fight with two of the most exciting guys in the division, especially stylistically. You put these guys together, it makes a crazy dynamic fight. But it makes it, to me, even more exciting, Karyn. I don't know if you feel the same way as well, but when things like this are happening, it feels like the world will be watching. The world will be watching. We haven't had fighting. We had a little bit of an experiment with this prior with the Kevin Lee fight, and we thought they were going to do much bigger numbers. They didn't do nearly as much. But it wasn't as big of a fight card, and this was still early on. I know you worked that event as well. You were there. But this was still kind of experimenting. Like, people were still kind of going outdoors, indoors, not everything shut down. Now we're in pretty much complete nationwide lockdown, somewhat. People are dying for fights now. So we have about 2 weeks to go into this fight. Now they're going to start building and promoting this fight. And it feels to me like something that, like, what else are you going to be doing? Why would you not be watching this fight? So I'm very excited about it. I wanted to get your thoughts on it too as well, though.
Well, there's a couple things for me. That I love that. Okay, how do I phrase this?
Speak honestly, Karyn.
I really wanted to see Tony fight Khabib.
I know. I get it.
Like, I really wanted to see the champ defend against Tony. I wanted to see the champ who is awesome at what he does against Tony, who's amazing at what he does, right? Like, you and I both know, we've been down this road, Alan Jouban. You know how much I love Tony Ferguson, right? So, I have wanted to see Tony get his real, 100% unadulterated, real mother-cracking title shot forever.
But
so
it's not
for
happening.
me, it is. I know, and he's been the interim champ before and stuff like that. And for me, I get it. Like, I get it. And it's the best we can do in a bad situation. I 100% agree. I do think it's the best we can do in a bad situation. I love this fight. I'm not saying I wouldn't. Please. Of course I'm going to watch Tony. Justin Gaethje is awesome. Okay?
Yeah.
This guy is badass. He legit shows up to throw down every single time. I'm not saying I don't like this fight. I'm just like, I just wish we had the real one, right? The one that we all really wanted, which was Tony and Khabib. But of course, this is awesome. It's a great second place fight. You know, Justin, which I love about Justin, is he tweeted something out and he was like, okay, the contract's signed. I'm effing scared. Like, because Justin's not usually a short notice guy or whatever. We know that when he shows up, he is 100% full on there. Freaking, you know, just floors it. Pedal to the metal. I'm trying to think of all the analogies of just like 0 to 60, go for it. And that's why Justin is such a guy that we all love. But to be on a short notice fight against somebody as good as Tony and as creative as Tony and as crafty as Tony, and we know Tony never stopped training, and we know Tony was expecting to fight Khabib, and if you're expecting to fight the best in the world, then you prepared the best. Like, I don't know that it bodes well for Justin, is all I'm saying in this case. And Justin is a fighter who is so talented, so gifted, and such a badass, and who can wreck anybody anytime. But, I think it fares a lot. It's a lot better situation for Tony than it is for Justin right now.
Yeah. Well, first off, we don't have to say it again, but Khabib's a fight that everybody wanted. This is, like you said, the second best fight that we could offer at this time that the fans want to see. That's worth taking our money on.
Yeah.
The problem that I do have with it, though, is this. If Tony Ferguson is victorious on that night, he will then be given his second belt that is not officially the champion. It's still going to say that you're an interim champ. And to think that he has 2 interim belts,
crazy.
It's kind of absurd. And so for him to go and take this fight and do what he has to do and beat the best man that's available at this time and to receive an interim belt from it, it's a bit not fair. It's a bit not fair because he will still not get the respect that he wants. Tony has a self-confidence that's second to none, but he will still not get that hardcore fan love from everyone because he had not beaten the champ, which is correct, but it's tough if he is victorious that night. So that's the only problem that I do have with this.
But yes, and what my problem, the problem isn't really the right word to phrase. My feeling on this is that Tony has, even in the past before, we would tell him all the time, like when we were doing UFC Tonight, and we would do like Road to Gold, and we would have all these things about like how can Tony get to the title shot, and if you remember, Tony is the guy who literally just took out. He'll be like, well, I'll just fight the next guy in front of me, and I'll just fight the next guy in front of me, and I'll just fight the next guy in front of me. Meanwhile, people who are ranked number 9 in the UFC half the time are going, I need a title shot, right? And Tony wasn't that guy. And he always just fought who was in front of him. And there was like, on the one hand, you were like, I have so much respect for Tony Ferguson. He just slowly chipping away at everybody that he needs to so that there's no argument when he makes his way to the top. And then the other side of you was like, when he's at number 5 or something, like, why the isn't he asking for that title shot, right? Because what if he gets hurt fighting all these people? So I've always had so much respect for him and his willingness to fight anybody and everybody, and his willingness to like put in the work when he could have probably cut the line. I'm a huge Tony fan like that. And to me, so again, it's like, if anything, it's like, I just feel it's like it sucks that he's not fighting Khabib. Like, awesome that he's getting payday. Awesome that he's getting a great opponent in Justin Gaethje. But it's like, it just sucks, man. To me, it just sucks. If you're a Ferguson fan, like, the dude still doesn't get his real title shot. And that, to me, is what's the bummer about it. Not that it's not an awesome fight. Not that I won't be watching. Not that I can't wait for it. It's just that it's like, it just sucks that it's not what it should be.
It's not what it should be. And let's not forget, when you're the fighter, you have the switch flipped on, right? And so I know this feeling very well. When your phone rings and it's your manager and you're in fight camp, it's an optional. Do I want to pick this up right now? Because it normally means we got an opponent change, something happened. It's some news that totally throws your world upside down. Think about how many times Tony has gotten this crazy phone call and had to deal with this and stay with the switch flip, stay in that focus mode, go from we're working all get-ups off the ground and half-guard get-ups if Khabib takes you down. So now we're going, okay, now we're fighting Gaethje, who has wrestling, could take you down, but it's probably going to be a slugfest. It's going to be a total different fight. Stay in that mode. Tony has to stay with that. So he's had to make a lot of adjustments throughout his, not only this fight, but his entire career. But I would think that all the adjustments, all of those odd phone calls that he's had to receive in the middle of training camp has maybe prepared him for this one, this odd time in the world where everybody's kind of getting these weird phone calls and things are never going to be quite as usual. I'd like to get into a bit of the fight, some of the stylistic matchups, the pros and cons. What do you have going into it, Karyn? I mean, I know you kind of just hinted away that you see this as a tough task for Justin Gaethje coming in on short notice against somebody like Tony, but let me get your thoughts on it.
Well, I think it's a tough task for Justin only in that, like you said, it's the short notice thing, and he has said in the past that he doesn't like to take short notice things. So I'm only taking the, hey, it might be difficult for Justin cue from Justin himself, right? Because I think this man is fearless. I think this man is incredibly talented, and I think this man can beat anybody at any given night, right? Something you just alluded to, though, Alan, is the wrestling, whether or not he uses it, right? Because Justin is such a crowd-pleasing guy that a lot of the time he abandons the wrestling for the sake of the crowd, right? You guys like knockouts? I'll give you a knockout. And A lot of the time it's fared very well for Justin. Sometimes it hasn't. But that's why we love this dude, is because he's willing to just throw caution to the wind and be like, F it. I have a smart way to win, but I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use the more exciting way to win, which is fun. But even still in all, I don't know that it's going to be a smart idea to take Tony down anyway, right? Because we know Tony's so crafty. We know he's so great with submissions. To me, these two, Tony is a person that lives in that chaos, as does Justin. And so for me, I don't expect a long fight. I mean, we're also starved for entertainment that, like, I wish, that we'd get 3.5 rounds, 4 rounds. We're not. Like, I think 1.5, maybe? Wow. But only because both of them are so good in that chaotic exchange that it could just come down to like who seizes the opportunity.
Yeah, I love how you finished off that breakdown, because I could throw so much stuff out here, and all the experts could say what they want to say, but at the end of the day, we're talking about two chaotic guys that are in frenzies and chaotic, and a lot of both of them, literally chaotic is the word, the only word that comes to my mind. They're those type of flurries and moments throughout the fight. So to really break it down too over analytical would be a little bit too much. I think I am going to throw some stuff out there, some points, but I think you said it. Whoever gets the moment that seizes the moment in some of the chaos. Does Gaethje land that big overhand that he has, that power and the advantage on Tony? Does Tony lock in a Darce choke in the scrambles when Justin tries to take him down? Those could be the opportune times that seize the victory in this fight. But if I'm breaking it down, I'll say this. Tony's been in fight camp for who knows how long. He's been thinking that he's fighting Khabib, the best guy in the world, a guy that you are going to have to work your ass off of. So Tony has to be in the most tremendous shape of his life right now. Justin, on the other hand, has been floating with the idea of possibly fighting Conor, possibly fighting him, this person or that person at any given date. So although I do think that he's active, I don't believe that Justin Gaethje has had the switch flipped in his head for the last 3 months as is Tony. So if this thing does go 5 rounds, there's no way that Justin will be able to keep the pace as Tony. Tony does not seem to tire. He went 5 rounds in Mexico City and then did 20 push-ups as soon as the bell rang. Tony is not going to fatigue before Justin. Justin will fatigue. The thing that comes to my mind is that we have not seen Justin wrestle because he loves it. He loves the craziness. Would now not be the best time? I know we say this for every fight. I know.
Now's when you should wrestle.
Now's the best time. You're fighting a power striker. Now you're fighting. But when you know that the worst thing in the world is to be cardio tired, and you're not in shape and you're fighting a 5-rounder, now would be the time to work for that takedown and then rest on top. So I could really see Justin trying to utilize the wrestling in this fight to say at the end of the fight, I could see him with his hand raised, not saying that he will win, but if his hand was to be raised, I could see him saying, look, I don't like to wrestle. I like to prove it for the people, but look, I was not in shape. I knew Tony was going to get tired. I had to stall the fight down. I had to slow it down, and that's why I did this, but I don't like doing it. I could see him saying something along those lines, but yeah, the thing is, Gaethje gets knockouts, in my opinion, from kind of like scramble opportune moments. He'll throw a big overhand right, put you on a cage, throw some more. Tony thrives in those type of moments. He likes the scramble. So are those moments not going to be there? Who has a better chin? I don't know. Though Justin has been taken out twice in the UFC, once from Poirier, once from Eddie Alvarez. I still feel like he's kind of got the better chin because he takes so much damage so well, where Tony's never been knocked out. But Tony does get dropped a lot and put in some weird positions. So I don't really know who I can say was the better chin. I say Justin has the power, Tony has the cardio. It's really up in the air. But as we alluded to earlier, not only has Tony been in camp for so long and has his eyes set on a fight at this date for a long time, but the scramble opportune moment, who's going to take advantage of that? And yeah, I could maybe lean towards Tony, but it's really up in the air.
I will say this, Justin is in Colorado, so Justin is at high elevation all the time anyway. And so, yeah, so even on your worst day, you know what I mean, going for a jog out there, the guy is based at higher elevation. And I remember one time I think we were in Washington D.C. or something last year, and hanging out, and I was talking to him. I was like, yeah, you don't strike me as the kind of guy that like really chunks out anyway. You know what I mean? It's like I don't really expect Justin to get fat when he's not fighting and stuff like that. But yes, I do think he is at a disadvantage to Tony in terms of all that stuff that we said about the camp. In terms of the wrestling, Justin is a very decorated wrestler, and he just, like you said, just doesn't choose to use it all the time. Tony's a very good wrestler too, but I feel like, with Tony, with the wrestling, it's more about, I don't know, getting in and out of things, right? He doesn't, it's almost using it to set up other things, right? He seems like he enjoys the other parts of the game more than just straight up wrestling, even though he was on Brock's team and, and all of that. I guess what's also interesting for me is how it will play out, though, right, Alan? Like, so if we are, where is it going to be? There were some rumors maybe it would be on the West Coast. As you mentioned, I did work the Kevin Lee fight. Okay, so I was there in Brazil when Oliveira and Kevin fought. I wasn't even able to go into the building there. They had such lockdown rules on 100 people in the building, and Dan Hardy and I were outside. And you have mentioned this before, and I think it's a very salient point that isolation favors Tony Ferguson a lot more than it does Justin Gaethje. And the way this fight plays out, I think, is going to be a factor. Gaethje feeds off the crowd goes crazy. I mean, Tony feeds off the crowd too. I'm not saying he doesn't. Right. But you really succinctly brought up on our last show that Tony's an isolated guy. Tony is a guy that you have had experience training with, and we'll probably share this video again. And Tony is an unusual person. He doesn't have a big team around him. He doesn't travel with a huge posse of people. And that isolation does favor him. And I do agree that when this does play out, that also favors him in this situation.
That's a great point. I kind of forgot that we spoke about that the last time. Tony most certainly is a lone wolf, and he's fine with that. Tony doesn't have to please other people or need a big team around him or need a number of coaches breaking down footage. He doesn't really care about that kind of stuff. He likes to kind of man his own ship, and that's what he's been doing and had success with. So you're right. Going into this fight, that does favor him leading into it. And the other thing that favors him in this fight is I know Tony had to be working relentlessly with Eddie Bravo and everyone else there on getting up. They go, we know Khabib is going to take you down, right? So let's work the half guard get up. Let's work some rubber guard. Let's work some leg locks just to make him move, and then we'll work the scramble. Mm-hmm. So I would say that Tony's working off of his back right now is probably as polished as it's ever been. Going into a fight with Justin Gaethje, where Gaethje might feel the need to take him down because of his lack of cardio. So that does play in the favor of Tony as well.
Tony also has a reach advantage over Justin Gaethje. So how do you think that could affect the fight?
Yeah, I'm big on reach advantage because, man, when you're playing the distance game and somebody's able to pop you and you can't pop them, it changes what you have to do. You have to jump further inside to close the distance. Both guys have long arms. Tony has those kind of just kind of elusively long arms. He gets in there, he sits in the pocket, his hands are down sometimes, he's throwing elbows from punching range and landing them and cutting you with them. So it's good that Tony has that because he's going to still, all these good things that we said about Tony, how tough he is, his scramble ability, Justin Gaethje has one punch knockout power. We've seen him do it time and time again. He puts guys away. Tony Ferguson is a guy that gets hit. So that would be, to me, the biggest X factor in the fight with Justin. Right. Either A, getting the takedown, slowing the fight down so that you could last for the 5 rounds or however long you need to keep up with Tony's cardio, or finding those opportune moments to touch Tony's chin and test how good of it is.
Well, yeah, I was just about to ask you that because you do have experience firsthand training with Tony. What is it like? Is it with Tony? Do you find that, I mean, I don't know how hard, I mean, you guys have done some really creative things together. I don't know how hard you've actually just straight up sparred or whatever, but with Tony, do you find that it's more a collection of volume putting things together that eventually gets to you, whereas Justin might, like you just said, have more of the one punch thing?
It's funny. If I'm honestly breaking down what it's like to train with Tony, I'll be honest and I'll say, like, I'm a confident guy when I'm training and sparring. When I wrestle with Tony, I think, he's not that much better than me in wrestling. When I spar with Tony in the striking, I go, I'm a better striker than Tony. But when you put it all together and you're doing it for 2, 3, or 4 rounds, you go, damn, this guy throws so much wild shit, and it just keeps coming and coming and coming. And what it does is it just keeps you on your toes and it wears you down. Yeah. Because you're very used to the this is where my guard is. And then Tony's strikes are coming from different angles. So you happen to make adjustments. And then you're thinking about, oh, crap, he's trying to Imanari roll to get under my feet and take me down and do some type of leg lock. And he's doing so many little things that just wear you down. And this isn't really so much a big thing in the fight, but I've said this before, that Tony has really big hands. He really does. Because when we wrestle, he gets grip control, and I cannot, like, Wing Chun out of it. That's kind of the break right there.
Right.
And Tony gets a hold of you, and you can't go anywhere. It's crazy. I'm like, this guy is so strong when he gets a hold of your wrist or when he clubs you on top of your head in a wrestling position. So little subtle things like that. But the amount that he's putting it out there, keeping you on your toes, keeping you uncomfortable, wearing you down with grips and elbows and snapping your head down, it breaks guys. And that's what Tony likes to do. He likes to kind of break guys, or at least slow them down to where he's dancing his dance all of a sudden. And that's how he gets the victories.
Right. I mean, I will just say, like, they got two of the most violent bros in there. Like,
I'll applaud that as well. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess this is what I wanted to ask you, like, big picture, because there is a part of me, and you and I have both, I did go to the grocery store today, but I was all wrapped up. I haven't been out in, I think today, 6 days or so. I think the last time I went out to a store was last Tuesday or something. Wade went the other day. But we've really been taking all of the social distancing seriously. We have gone out for jogs and bike rides, but we've even been covered for those. And I don't believe this is a hoax. I think it's real. I know people are dying. I know it's a crisis. It's not good. And I know there are a lot of people that believe, that everything should be closed, and, the UFC is crazy for even trying this. And I will say, though, that, there's a lot of us that are vicariously, everybody's living through this right now, right? We all want sports. Yep. And as long as it's done safely and the people involved, the fighters are cool with it and everybody's signed off and, I think it is going to be something that's going to be very welcome and something that we all really want. But I guess overall, Alan, there are just some feelings that people have about this thing even taking place at all.
Yeah.
So what's your feeling?
No, it shows that Dana White's a gunslinger. He really is. Dana White's belief in this thing, I don't know. I don't really want to bring it in. I know he's kind of had some pushback at some point saying that he didn't really know how I felt about this. To me, that's absurd at this point. If you felt that way 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, okay. Mm-hmm. At this point, the amount of numbers and deaths that we've had, everyone should be full serious about this. I think this is a great, as long as, look, the fighters are signing off on this, the people that are working the show, the production team, everyone is signing off saying, look, I realize I'm possibly jeopardizing my safety in coming into an element like this in contact, and I'm fine with it. I'm going to sign off on it. If everyone signs off on it and it's a successful show and they do it in a very safe manner, and we go realize, okay, there is a model now. We do have a setup where we could start putting events on slowly and wherever this location is that they find, and do them this certain way. And if it's something that works, then great. If we do this and it just doesn't have the same ring to it, that, like, who's going to buy pay-per-view without a crowd, and there's not enough fights on here, they couldn't make maybe a 13-fight card, then we'll see. But I think it's a good opportunity for us to just at least try it out, because I think a lot of people are in need of a good fight right now, or some, not even a good fight. I mean, maybe the fight fans, but sports, something in general that brings us all together. Say, everybody in the world is watching this, or everybody in the sports world is watching this same fight right now, and it feels good to have that feeling again.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kumbaya. It's the we can overcome. It's the, what I mean? It's the all of us together thing. And I can tell you firsthand, I was in Brasilia, knock wood. That was, what day was that? March, or that was early March, right? March 7th?
I don't know what today is.
Yeah, anyway, it was early March. And I came home. I've been home. As soon as I came home, stayed inside. And like I said, the only places I've been going to the grocery store, but knock wood, I'm safe, and it's a week or two in, I texted Bisping, who was on that one with me, and Hardy and all this. So we're like, hey, you good? We're good. We're all good, right? So, and that was flying home from Brazil. That was all this stuff, international ports. This is all that. So you can take care and you can protect yourselves. And to be honest with you, Alan, like, we were talking about it at home here. We have friends that have traveled internationally earlier in the year. I've traveled internationally, right? So if I'm 100% honest with you, there's a part of us that thinks like that virus might have already come through our house and like come and gone. I have no way of proving that at all, but that doesn't mean I'm not taking this seriously. And yes, that I don't want to affect other people if I can, or that would be horrible. But you can pull stuff off. We saw Chael pull it off last week with submission underground. Like, you can pull it off. I don't know if they're getting other fights. I mean, obviously, we're not all paying for just the one fight, right? So we're going to have to see what else is on there. I know before they were talking, T. Wood was all excited about maybe fighting Colby. I know Francis was really looking to get that fight with Jairzinho. I know now people are like, oh, let me put together this imaginary incredible card. Yeah. And I don't know if they'll kind of draw people from, maybe people that were on the London card, maybe people that were on some of these other things and fill it out. But how many fights do you think they can make, Alan? Which fights do you want to see on there?
This is what I'm seeing so far. I think I saw that it was confirmed that alongside what we told you guys already, Ferguson versus Gaethje headlining it, they will also have Greg Hardy on there. Greg Hardy's got confirmed on that card. I don't remember his opponent's name. So we'll have a big heavyweight fight. Greg Hardy, love him or hate him, he's an exciting fighter. This guy rarely goes past the first round. So that's a good kind of draw to have on the card. I believe I saw our mutual friend Bilal Muhammad
Bully B
as well. Yeah, so Bully B is supposed to be on there. His opponent, unfortunately, the New York guy, I can't remember his name, the big muscular guy from New York, welterweight.
Yeah.
He pulled out.
Right.
So I think they're looking for him a new opponent, but I believe he's on the card.
Right.
Other than that, I don't know who else is on the card. I don't know the other 20 fighters that they're putting on here. Right. I want to say one thing real quick. Bilal Muhammad, while we're about him, I had no idea he was fighting until recently because I saw that his opponent pulled out, which amazes me that he's fighting because he is so active and so vocal on Twitter. And he's nothing but jokes, and he's been doing this Tony Ferguson thing, kind of trolling Tony, playing with Tony, and he's hilarious. And I was like, man, this guy's in fight mode. This guy's got the switch flipped, and he's on Twitter this much. My other new favorite Twitter person is Gilbert Burns. Dorino, is it Dorino?
Dorino is killing it.
He is relentless. This guy's relentless. And I tell you what, I know you're a big Woodley fan. I got nothing against Woodley, but I'm saying I know you have a relationship with Woodley, a good friendship. Gilbert is just, man, he is just burning Woodley one after another. He keeps posting these videos, and the one with Woodley kind of singing or rapping, and it's hilarious, man. I can't believe how relentless he is as well. But he's been a savage on Twitter. But I think not only is it just amusing to people that are at home, but I think this is helping Gilbert Burns stop because he's already a really good fighter. He got into the welterweight division. He's a great fighter. But now he's become much more vocal, much more of a voice, much more people following him and laughing at him and kind of getting on the bandwagon. He's calling people out. I think it's a good look for him. I'm sure if you're the fighter on the other side of the octagon, you don't like him. But for his overall stock, I think, has risen tremendously, even during the last couple of months when we've been going through this.
Yeah, no, Dorino is awesome. And he was on the Brasilia card. He beat Damian Maia down there and knocked him out,
now he was on that card.
Yeah. No, Dorino is the short notice dude. Like, that's the whole thing, is that he comes in on short notice. He's like, blam! And he just has been blasting people. Dorino has been crushing it this last year. Like, Gilbert's been having such a great year. So, are you back? Okay, so we lost you for a second here. So, anyway, so Dorino is absolutely incredible, and I agree with you that on social media, he's been calling a lot of people out and really trying to take time for this. He's calling some stuff out to Tyron, whatever. Like, I won't comment on necessarily what he's saying or whatever, but I do agree with you that this has been a good for him, and Dorino's had just, like, the killer year last year. It's just been great for him. And you were just saying in general beforehand, like, it's interesting to me on who else could be on this card and putting things together. And like you said with Bilal, he has been crushing it. If people don't follow Bilal on social media, they really should. He's been doing Deal or No Deal on Instagram. I might even go on it with him. I think he sent me a message the other day like, hey, do you want to come on it? And I'm like, oh, maybe I will. He's such a funny guy. And we all, if people don't know the story, of course, when you guys fought, he was new to the organization and we didn't like him because we didn't know who he was. But once you guys had the fight of the night and getting to know Bilal, he's just a wonderful, wonderful guy. And so part of the reason why, Alan, though, his switch might be flipped is he too, like Khabib, being Muslim, about to enter Ramadan and all that. And Bilal has fought before during Ramadan, even, he's very, about the fasting and all of that. So he can do it. But that might also be why he's got that sense of urgency, is because he wants to fight too before Ramadan, I think. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what else they'll flesh out on that card. But it feels, it's weird because if I'm being honest, Alan, I don't hate, like, we are, knockwood, we are fortunate, right? We have enough space for the three of us here at home. We have enough money to buy what we need. We have enough things to keep us busy. I'm not a person who gets bored. I just crushed another puzzle the other day. But, and now I gotta go start another one. I understand though, the people who do need, like, I need to get back moving. I need to make money. I need to do this. I need to do that. So while I'm okay staying home for a while longer, as long as it takes, I'm happy we have something to focus our energy on and watch some fights. Yeah,
no, I agree. Yeah, I think about that all the time. That what if I didn't have this, or what if I couldn't make the rent, or there's so many people in so many other positions right now that I agree having something that we could all watch and maybe celebrate at the same time would be great. So it's something that makes you feel like, oh, the old times, which were only about 3 weeks ago, but it feels. I haven't driven my car in so long. I mean, I've been driving my wife's truck now and then, and it's like I got in my car the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, I used to bring my son to school every morning. Right. I haven't done that in a while, but yeah, just getting that back into that kind of the old feel again is going to be great.
Yep. Okay, so in the alternate universe, Alan, then what have you been doing to keep busy? I don't know if you watch Ozark. I don't know. Okay, so if people watch Ozark, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but is that one that you watch?
So I haven't watched it. I've been seeing all these great reviews about it. And so literally today I was on Netflix and I told my wife, I said, I keep hearing about Ozark. And then I looked and it was like adult content, nudity, sex scenes, whatever the hell. I was like, damn it. All the good stuff is always not kid friendly.
Right.
And so it's hard to watch movies. So yeah, no, I haven't watched it because of that. It's going to be one of those shows that after I put Cage to bed, I'll have to try to watch. But I can't watch it in the middle of the day with him.
Dude, Cage is going to bed at like 3 this afternoon then, bro. Because literally, Ozark is one. When it very first came on Netflix a couple seasons ago, this was the end of the 3rd season. Right away, I was on it. Literally, Jason Bateman is one of my favorite actors. I watch almost anything that he is in. Bad Words from Jason Bateman. One of the funniest movies ever. Anyway. And Laura Linney and I went to the same university. We both went to Brown. I didn't know her there, but she's a badass. So I already knew I was going to like these, just to show just the people in it. Anyway, Wade and I, we watched it from the very beginning. We have loved it. Season 3 came out on Netflix. So we actually sort of paced ourselves and didn't just go all in over a course of one day. So we did like 2 episodes a night for the course of a few days. It is brilliant. It's so good, and I know, and the people who have seen it, like I said, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but the people who have seen it, if you got to the end of this 3rd season, Alan, I legit, was on the couch, oh! I just screamed when this thing happened. I, freaked out and lost my stuff. So, highly recommend Ozark.
I got to watch it. I've been seeing it. I mean, everybody that has spoken about it on Twitter or whatever via social media has said the same thing as you. They're freaking out over it. And so anytime I see that, I'm like, whoa, what am I missing? So yeah, I wanted to do it today and I was reading the breakdown. I'm like, damn it, I got to wait for Cage to be a bit.
It's so good. Okay, so for your demographic then, Alan, what have you been watching? What have you been doing with Cage? What sort of wisdom can you impart to our viewers? Besides go get a trampoline, which you and I have also already both done. But what can you do for your age group to keep them busy at home?
Yeah, so I was on Netflix today, had to pass on Ozark because of that, but then I was like, let me find a ridiculous movie that's PG-13.
Yeah.
Rat Race, an older movie where it's like a high-stakes gambler puts $2 million in New Mexico, and all these families, 6 different people have to go across America and who can get the money first.
Okay.
It's a ridiculous movie, but that's the kind of movies I've been watching when I'm with my son. Although I did do Tiger King at night, when I was watching it at nighttime. But I've been fixing up the house, Karyn. I've been painted the front yard fence, working on the hot water heater. We put up the trampoline. I put up a gym in my little backyard pergola area.
Yeah.
Fixing little things here and there. I've been trying to do as much as I can. My wife finally cleaned out her closet yesterday. I figure like by the time the smoke clears and all this is done, we have no excuses not to at least have bettered our home, bettered our automobiles, gotten organized, something. If not all of them, but at least something. We should be. If I'm a musician or a writer, I'm going to town right now. I'd be creative out of the ass. I'd be coming up with stuff every day. But if you're not, we should be like you. You're doing the puzzles. You're challenging your brain, or you're just entertaining yourself, whatever you want to call it. But for me, it's like, let me become the handyman, so that way when I go back to work, I can come home every day and be like, everything in my house feels perfect. I don't have that anxiety of knowing that I have this or that I'm going to get taken care of in 6 months and next year.
Right.
I've been doing all those things as of lately. So that's been kind of keeping me busy lately. But I've been having days where I'll do like handyman work, and then I'll just relax for a couple of days and do like workouts at home and then handyman. So balancing those two has kind of been keeping me busy so far.
Yeah, I've been, like I said, I was doing the jigsaw puzzles. The thing is I literally almost need to pace myself. I become obsessed with them. It's one of my favorite things to do, right? So if, I love sports and I've played sports all my life and everything, but I've really always been a reader and I love puzzles. I don't know why. So even when you like ask my mom, like way back when as a kid, like, yeah, I like jigsaw. They've just been a thing that I have loved all my life. And I'm very good at them. So a couple weeks ago, like I said, I was doing that one that was so freaking hard that kicked my butt that I was not used to being like, so because usually like the other one I did, another Ravensburger the other day, I like did it, started it, cranked it out, like, but you literally, Alan, have to like drag me away from it because I obsess about it. When I'm not doing it, I think about it. It's so weird. I'm like, oh, that piece, that little son of a bitch. Like, I'm going to find that one. Like, and I literally obsess about it. So if I'm doing a puzzle, I love them so much that I have to kind of pace myself. So I can't, like, once I finished that one the other day, and even though I know I have a few more in the basement, I have to, like, wait a couple days because otherwise I won't do anything else. And I'll only do my puzzle because literally, when do I have time? Like, when am I allowed to only just do that all day, right? Christmas break usually or something like that. So I've been going all in. It is a joy for me and I love it. So I've been enjoying that. But I know what you mean about the house stuff. Like this week, I have a feeling I'm going to actually get more accomplished. I've tried to do like a little cleaning every day here and there. Yeah. But to your point, like if we don't come out of this massively purged with a real clear set of like new initiatives and new ideas and new goals and gotten rid of a bunch of old crap, then we've really not taken advantage of this time.
You have to. I posted something on Instagram the other day, and I wasn't even trying to be like all deep thought or some cool quote. It was literally what just was on my mind, and it was that the day will start and end whether you find purpose or not, because that was on my mind. Because I wake up sometimes not overly motivated. Like I'm not. I don't always wake up thinking, all right, today I'm gonna crush it. Sometimes I'm just lagging. I'm going like, I don't know if I want to do anything. Right. And then I kind of hit the reset button. I hit the switch and I go, you know what? Let me just go brush my teeth right now and get on the bike and start biking and see if I get my heart rate up and see if that leads to one thing or another. And then I feel so much more accomplished from having purpose that day, or doing just a workout, or doing something outside, or working on some acting, or just something. So I know there's days that I could probably just sit on a couch all day, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it will continue to do that. I find when you find that purpose, I think we all get a little bit more just accomplished feeling, and it feels good.
It does. Well, I should say, Alan, and I was gonna show you my booty here. I'm still in the skinny jeans. This isn't gonna.
Can we rewind that? Is that a first that you just got up and said, "Let me show you my booty"?
I know.
Wow, things are going
it's
good
definitely
in
a first.
Quarantine.
I don't even know what happened, but I literally today was like, because I think I've been doing okay, and like we were saying last week, we were like, "What's your status?" And we were like, "Holding with a little fluff or whatever." Yeah. But literally this morning, I was like, "Let me just double check," because you can kind of, you're in the shower, you're like, "Well, that wasn't." I mean, so I put them on, and I was like, "Oh yeah, no, we're good. We're still good. They're still. We're good." Because, good. A lot of my friends have put out the, like, my skinny jeans are my fat jeans now meme and stuff like that. So there's one thing I was like, I will not come out of this bigger. I may not come out smaller, but I won't come out bigger.
There you go. No, hey, the trampoline's a workout. I'm about to go. As soon as we hang up, I'm going to get like 30 minutes in before I do a online Saxon Muay Thai class.
Nice, very nice, very nice. Well, Alan, I do hope that you and everybody is staying safe. And, obviously we both have family across the country that we've been checking in on. And I do hope that everybody is safe and okay. And I know that, we're having some levity. I'm having some fun with this, but I know, I wouldn't say fun with this, but I know for some people this is incredibly serious. And they have family members that are sick and dying. And for that, my heart breaks. So I hope that everybody is doing okay. And I hope that, people are taking this seriously. I do still see some conspiracy theories out there. Alan, we have some friends in the MMA world or even some things, and they post some stuff. Sometimes you're like, really, dude? Do you really believe that?
I don't. Sometimes I read stuff and I go, I don't know what the intent was behind it, right. But okay. Yeah, no, I'm never like full, not to get political left or right or anything. I'm just always like, I'm going to do what seems very practical. And so that's how I'm taking this. I'm going to be safe. I'm going to wear gloves. I'm going to wear a mask. I'm not going to, I'm going to just listen to everything till everything dies down.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have a ton of stuff, like we have mentioned before, especially in these times when you guys are looking for stuff to do. At MMAHeat.com, we have a ton of things. And especially, Alan, again, we were talking about you training with Tony. I'll share that, but we have like tons of Tony Ferguson footage. We've got Justin Gaethje footage. We got all kinds of stuff. If people want to look and just find some old workouts or whatever, just to kind of pass the time. Old press conferences are kind of fun. I noticed today, Alan, actually, while the date of this that we're recording, this was like, I guess, Conor's debut in the UFC all the way back in 2013 and stuff. So if people are looking, we got tons of Conor press conferences and just all kinds of stuff to keep busy. So definitely look at MMAHeat.com. For Wade is our producer and all that stuff. You can follow him at Wadeck, Wadeeck. He's on Twitter now too. But you have MMA Heat and all that on Instagram. Wade's on Instagram as well. He has behind the scenes things and drone stuff that he shoots as well. On Instagram, I'm KB Heat. Everywhere else, Karyn Bryant. Alan, where can they find you?
And I am at Alan Jouban, AlanJouban, all social media platforms. So give us all a follow, and we'll try to stay in touch.
Cool. And last thing before we go, Alan, while I do my puzzles, a lot of the time I have Mad Men on. And I know you are friends with January Jones. Now, Mad Men is a show that I watched from the very beginning when it first debuted on TV on AMC like years ago. It is a show that I've seen every episode, and I've watched it all the way from like beginning to end. I think this is my like third time maybe going around bringing it up again on Netflix, and I just love it so much. It's something that I have on a lot of the time when I'm doing my puzzles or doing other things. And the other day I literally was like, I forgot that Alan knows January Jones. I was like, you need to tell her what a great job she has done in that show. I'm sure she hears it all the time, but she played Betty so well. It's such an affecting role. Like, she just was so good on that show. The whole thing, I just adore that show. But I literally was like watching. I was like, I gotta tell Alan to give her a high five for me, because she did such a great job on that show. And it's like a tough role. She doesn't have a very likable role a lot of the time, and it's a very hard role to play. And I think she did a great job.
I'll have to watch it. I've never seen the show. I've never. I mean, I've heard of Mad Men, but I've never watched it. And she's a mutual friend of some of our friends. So if next time we do see her around, I'll let her know what she said. But yeah, I've never watched it.
She literally would be one of those people that would be like, okay, so remember that time in the episode for so-and-so when he did that thing? Could you believe it? Like, I could talk to her about that whole effing show.
That's funny.
It's so good.
I got Ozark and Mad Men.
Mad Men is amazing. You know what else we really liked? We watched The Stranger already on Netflix a couple months ago. We did that one. That one was good. There's always Black Mirror. I might actually start Better Call Saul, because Wade liked Breaking Bad before. I saw a few of those. I was like, oh, maybe we'll do Better Call Saul. I don't know. Yeah,
I haven't checked that out, but I saw Breaking Bad. That was like one of the first shows that I've watched. I never really watched that many shows. I watched like mindless reality shows, but Breaking Bad was the first, Walking Dead was the second, and that's pretty much the only two real shows that I followed.
Good. Well, I know we were wrapping up, but as you say, mindless reality show, for some reason I got sucked into Love is Blind, which is horrible.
Haven't watched that one.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. Hilarious. And very, and like, so that's one that Aurora and I will be like having our morning tea, and we'll spill the tea and we'll watch a little bit of Love is Blind. I will admit that is my guilty pleasure right now because it's horrible. But yeah, so that's a good one. Anyway, I hope people are staying sane out there. I hope everybody's staying safe. But we do appreciate you tuning into this, and all of these can be found as audio downloads as well at mma.audio. So thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, take care, everyone.